So, any updates for so far?
Yes, the updates are streaming in, and so far there's light at the end of the tunnel. Currently, Coast member, National Executive Committee member, has gone to Gabriel Mugendi, who is in Nick Mwenda's camp or Doris Petra's camp. I keep saying Nick Mwenda's camp because I know Doris Petra is a
They had already positioned themselves.
Number 2, Central Region NEC member has gone to Robert Kenneth, who's the chairman of Moranga Sin and also in Hussein Mohammed's camp. Eastern, the background of Nick Mwendwa. Eastern Region, it has gone to Charles Njoka Njagi, who is in Hussein's camp. And Lower Rift Valley has gone to football legend, that is Peter Kamau, aka Kaskas, who won the Lower Rift, is in Hussein Mohammed's camp. Northeastern Region has gone to Fresh Start, Hussein's camp, that is Mohammed Dabar. I think is an MCA, is a current MCA or a former MCA, something like that. Number 6, that is Nairobi, has gone to a former footballer, former legend for Gor Mahia and FC Leopards, that is Dan Shikanda, who's in Toto Shimanyula's camp.
And Nyanza.
In Nyanza, we have Kale Collins, who has amassed 24 votes, is in Hussein Mohammed's camp.
I don't know, because we have had a lot of former players coming in to vie for some. Say, you, kuna siku ambayo itafika useme mimi I want to lead Kenyan football. Kuna siku itafika you now want to lead Kenyan football.
Yeah, definitely. I have ambitions of my own. I was I had thrown my hat in the ring for NEC member for Eastern Region. But you see, in our camp, we were 4 candidates, and Hussein Mohammed told us that you guys have to agree on who we will prop up, because we didn't want to divide votes, and we had our own mini house poll, and Charles Njagi Njoka won the mini poll, and right now you've seen he's won the NEC Eastern member for Eastern Region. I've just sent him a congratulations text. I'm waiting for his reply right now. So he's a very elated man.
Like I was saying, Danko, I prefer a former footballer being within either a deputy, kama Mariga, or even being the chairman, because these are the guys who know where the shoe is pinching. You know, how ndio wanajua welfare yetu ilikuwaje. So how can we improve welfare ya wachezaji? How can we improve the state of the Kenyan football? They've played in stadiums that security is an issue. They've played in stadiums where if kama Div 1 ama Div 2, team ikiwa home, uko sure ref hapa lazima atafanya kitu, kwa sababu asipofanya kitu amtatoka kwa ground. So such issues, security, even referees and opponents, security, even fans wenyewe. So these are players who've played in those kind of conditions. So these are people wenye I think they can improve the state of Kenyan football. So kuona former players waki-grace up na wanaingia kukua, even NEC members, or even like Mariga being a deputy, I think that is a plus for Kenyan football.
It's a win for football.
It's a win, actually.
If they
I was to ask you that, why are you driving support for Sudan and Mariga candidate? Yeah.
I had a speech when we unveiled McDonald Mariga to be the running mate for the Hussein candidature. And one thing, so many people were against it, and they were asking, does he want politics for the country or politics for football? The last time he wanted to be the MP for Kibra, and right now he wants to be the deputy president for the Football Kenya Federation. And then they were complaining that he should go back to football. Right now they are complaining that he's in football, he should go back to politics for the country. I mean, where do you want this guy to go? He's our best export. He's won the Champions League with Inter Milan. He's won the Serie A with Inter Milan. He's played in Spain. He's played in Belgium. He's played in Sweden. This is a guy who's exposed to the highest level, highest echelons of when it comes to matters football worldwide. So this is a guy who's a brand on his own. So he will attract sponsorship, not the sham sponsorships that we always see being thrown around by the federation, which hardly last one whole year. Like I can say, the Bet King sponsorship.
100 million. 100 million.
It was 1.1 billion, I think. And that said that this money, the way it will trickle down, that came in the previous election, that is 2020, of which the sponsorship should still be ongoing because it was a 5-year contract with BetKing. It still should be ongoing. The president said that 10% of the monies, that is 1.1 billion, 10% of which will go to women's football. Women's Premier League, actually. Last season, the winners of the Women's Premier League football got 350,000 Kenya shillings. I mean, that is the expenditure one way going to cost an away match for the police bullets. So that is money that cannot help any serious football club here in Kenya. And this is the top flight for women's football. He said that 100 million will go to Division 1 and Division 2 clubs. That has never come to fruition. He said this money will also help in the NSL. There's been only one sponsorship for the NSL, and that was way back when the now defunct BAMBA Sports or BAMBA TV was sponsoring the National Super League. And it was also on TV because I was then a commentator. I was a football pundit analyzing the games at BAMBA Sport and also on the ground. So we need value for our leagues. The Women's Premier League, for 8 years, they have never had any sponsorship. And you'd be surprised that right now the federation are playing with the gender card. They think that they win with the gender card. The gender card cannot win if the lady there has no capacity to lead our football. Women football, yes, the federation has tried and at least bring them up, and the national teams for the women right now being.
Should they take credits for what happened in
No. They should not
the under 17 team.
For the under 17 team that went to the World Cup. That credit should definitely go to the Ministry of Sports, more specifically Talanta Hela, and also the Ministry of Education, because those are the ones who are tasked with getting these players. They are the ones who have nurtured these players ever since they were babies.
Because I understand 11 of those players were from Talanta, from the Talanta Hela project.
So I also want to add to something about the BetKing sponsorship, and also what they did with the broadcasting, the contract. Initially, tulikuwa na Supersport. What happened there? It's not clear on what happened with the contract.
I actually know what happened because when Supersport came into the fray, 2007, I was at Mathare United, and I remember the first game was Mathare United versus Tusker. The first game, which was live on Supersport for the Kenyan Premier League. It was Mathare United versus Tusker. We won that game 4-1. And eventually Tusker became the champions through boardroom and
arrangement.
Yes, that's in the past. So then when they had that contract with the KPL, the Kenyan Premier League, they were not honest in their submission. And that is what, and I quote, that is what Supersport quoted, that the KPL, the league management, they were not honest because they said that they ran football for the whole country. Yet they were only tasked to manage the top flight football. So when Nick Mwendwa came into the fray, and this is where I'd like to absolve Nick Mwendwa from the hula baloos that happened. In 2015, the former president, Sam Nyamweya, he wanted an 18 league team because Azam, the current broadcasters of the Kenyan Premier League, they wanted to come into the fray. They wanted to sponsor the league. And what the previous president did, Sam Nyamweya, is he wanted to promote his team, Shabana, who are right now in the top flight, from the NSL through the back door, and also Posta Rangers. These are two clubs that he used to have both certificates in his pocket, in his back pocket. He was the delegate for those two clubs. And when the Kenya Premier League decided that we do not want an 18 league format, Sam Nyamweya started another league, another Premier League. And that is where FKFPL came into fruition. It is not Nick Mwendwa who started the FKFPL. It was Sam Nyamweya. What Nick did when he won in 2016, he just revisited that scenario, and he said he wanted an 18-team league format. And when that case went to the SDT, the Sports Tribunal, Sports Dispute Tribunal, when that case went there, Nick Mwendwa won. And then it was official that we will have an 18 league format. So SuperSport were looking for a loophole to exit Kenyan football because they were not getting any value for money. Remember then, they had exited Nigeria, they had exited Ghana, and they were looking like they want to exit in Zambia. But then again, when you look at Zambia, those people love their football, man. Their league is very attractive, and that is why SuperSport remained there until now. So that is what happened. So, SuperSport just looked for a loophole, and they said that KPL were dishonest in their submission that they are the sole custodians of Kenyan football. That is where they lost that case. And that is how the contract was terminated.
So what I wanted to mention with what you've just explained is, you know, be open enough. We want a chairman who is open enough, honest enough, who is able to display this kind of contracts to all of us, so that we can be able, you know, to push the Kenyan football to another level. Another thing is about marketing. We want a player who can market our league. Look, teams za Simba, Yanga, hapa tu TZ. Country kama TZ sio country ya kubit kama teams kama Gor. Gor imekuwa existence for 60 years. That is a club that saizi inafaa kuwa Gor ikimenshoniwa kwa you know, Champions League za Africa. Team kama Al Ahly za Egypt zinatetemeka because zinafaa kuwa wana attract, you know, wamejimarket, attract sponsors, wamebuy ma players. So we need a chairman mwenye ata market our league as well, our football, to make sure that our teams are mentioned. For example, saizi Police ilikuwa inacheza nini, but if you go to Tanzania and say Police, I'm sure wengi hawatajua. But right now in Kenya, you mention Al Ahly, una mention Tunis, Esperance. These are teams that zimeweza leagues zimemarket team yao. So we need someone who can brand our football, bring in sponsors. Sio lazima sponsors wakuwe KCB ama nini. We need also global sponsors.
KCB actually came from the Kenyan market and went to sponsor the Tanzanian Premier for a lot of money. And back then, KCB, I remember it was even relegated. Then when they went to the Tanzanian market. And when
Equity as well.
And also Equity, they're in Tanzania also. When you look at the last 8 years, that is where everything has happened. That's why I do not want the Nick Mwendwa and Doris Petra to come back to Kenyan football, because Tanzania and Uganda have overtaken us within the last decade. They have overtaken us. 8 years ago, Yanga, Simba could not beat Kenya. Even Harambee Stars, even Kariobangi Sharks, they could not beat them. Home or away or neutral, they could not beat them. But right now, Gor Mahia cannot breathe in the same room with Yanga, or FC Leopards cannot even sustain a goalless draw in the first half against Simba right now. Even Azam.
And not only club football, also Harambee Stars.
Harambee Stars.
We are losing some matches that we shouldn't be losing.
Namibia,
Namibia, Zimbabwe
136. Tanzania were 136 on the FIFA ranking.
Yes.
Right now, we were 108.
We are 108 right now.
Right now, we are still 108. 8 years on, and Tanzania have overtaken Kenya in the FIFA rankings. They are 107. Uganda, we cannot even start talking about Uganda because they are just way off.
And Innocent, there's a lot that is awaiting the next president or the next FKF football press, because in early February we'll be hosting CHAN. That is if
the stadiums are ready.
Because questions have been right. And then in 2027 there's a lot that is awaiting us. Kenya will be hosting the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, hosting with Tanzania and Uganda.
We are in a very tricky place because when you look at the current regime, they lost the rights. Remember in sometime back 2016, when there's actually a case ongoing because in 2018 the government removed money for infrastructure to renovate some of the stadiums, and that case is still ongoing in the courts. And time again, people or handlers or the cronies from the current regime, the ones who have been part of the rot, they always say, now we have to absolve ourselves that we are not tasked with building infrastructure. Look at Tanzania. Look at Uganda. Their federations have their own stadium where their national teams from all categories, they train. I've been to Uganda. I've been to Tanzania. I know what I'm talking about. Their goal projects, you cannot compare them with the goal project we have here in Kenya. And it's not like FIFA have not been removing money. They have been removing money. But how have we been using the money? South Sudan, this is a country which is even younger than my firstborn. It is younger than my firstborn. But they have their own FIFA-approved stadium. Right now, if you want to play, if you wanted to play, Kenya went to play there and we lost two goals to one.
And then
Sudan is like just
we drew the other. Yeah.
I'm angry, and I hope I can see the delegates are also angry. That is why we are changing the.
Let's hope they are.
They are. That's why you see the National Executive Committee, something that many people don't know out there. Yeah. It is like the cabinet, which advises the president, just like the cabinet for Kenya, which advises the president, which comes up with the budget for the financial year, which comes up with the policies for the guidelines for running the federation. They also come up with the structures for the federation. They're also tasked with getting the coaches for the national teams. And right now, the way it looks, handling of the national team has been great, has been good. We can do better with the current federation. But then again, when you go to the nitty-gritties of the national teams, when you go to the under 13, when you go to the under 15, both
ladies and
boys and girls, when you go to the under 17, when you go to the under 20, under 23, and even the senior team, you will see the same kinds of faces. Yet the federation, for the last 8 years, they are bragging about having coaching courses, having coaches graduating from them, over 8,000 coaches. But have they been quality coaching courses? Because how come they cannot trust one of our elite coaches with the national team? How come we seeing the same faces from Karubangi Sharks in the under 13, in the under 15, in the under 17, both ladies and gentlemen? So the federation has failed in its mandate to take Kenyan football to the next level, and that is why today it's a huge opportunity for the delegates to change the trajectory of Kenyan football.
And developments from Arena, that is Kasarani Arena, Caleb Amwai, who is the former referee, has been elected as the National Executive Council member for Western Region.
That's another win for Hussein Mohammed, our camp, and that is a win for football.
And currently it's we are saying it's one region away to the final ballot. And then the presidential election will be announced. But if you can listen to some of the upsound of the presidential candidates who are going to lead the Kenyan football, we can start. Who should we start with? My director, Sam Ochola. Let's listen to Sam Ochola. A brief one.
Vile nataka kusema kuna mavijana youth kwa grassroots. Kama tuko na academies na wameanza kutrain mavijana kutoka 11 years and the ladies. Infrastructure tutapata kwa mashule, tutapata kwa colleges, na so tunataka kufanya kazi na hizi mashule through the Ministry of Education na colleges kuweka hizi viwanja available. But the federation, as the president, we need to go round. Hatuwezi kukaa hapa Nairobi na tunafikiria tunaweza zungumza na mashule huko Kakamega ama Mombasa ama wapi. Tunataka na tuende huko tutafute hizi stadiums pali ziko sawa na tutumie hizo facilities.
Sam Ochola there, it's among the candidates. He's been so silent and yeah, so silent. What about Doris Petra? How tumsikie kidogo?
I'm the best candidate for FKF football, FKF leadership as president, because I've been there in the game, from sub-branch to where I am today as the vice president. I'm the best because I don't just come to ask for votes during elections and disappear and wait for the next season. I'm always there in the game for the game. And I started from grassroots. I'm the best placed for this.
Doris Petra there, who is currently the, should I say former vice president?
She's the current president until we get a new president. And
she's saying she's the best candidate for the...
You can see the way she's talking on TV, live on TV, for all the delegates to vote for her. She's saying because she's been there for all that time, that's why we should vote for her. Yeah. She's not even articulate. She cannot even articulate the issues affecting Kenyan football. She just wants to play the gender card, of which Kenyans right now are woke.
It's because hajui.
She does not know. She does not know, and that is why Nick Mwendo was taking over all the interviews when it comes to that presidential ticket.
Exactly, because he knew he's not. She won't be able to, articulate herself. When I saw you. When you started, you were a little bit shaky, but I can see you are...
No, yes.
he has, amechangamka. However, the only thing...
I don't know, sababu tumeuliza viewer, the candidate mwenye ana support, mwenye anaona ni the best to lead Kenyan football. Sijui maoni yako, ama pia, unajua, there's a time I was hosting a VAR last Thursday. There was a certain coach and then nikamuuliza, who are you supporting? Who do you want? Akaniambia hapana, sitaki kumention sababu if I mention and nimesema ni huyu na iende upande huu nitaumia miaka mingi.
So we have seen wait, sorry for interjecting. We have seen football coaches being taken out of class of a coaching course because they are deemed to be in another camp, because a photo was seen.
Unatolewa unaambiwa kaa kando?
Yes. Unatolewa unaambiwa kaa kando. You're removed from a coaching course, something that you have paid with your own money, not a scholarship or anything. That is why I was talking about threats and intimidation. Chaos and disorder has been the order of the day for this federation. And that is why you can see the former footballers were not bold enough, because most of them, they are managing these clubs. They are coaches of these clubs. And I wanted to challenge the former footballers. Let's not always go for these coaching courses, all of us, or being team manager of these clubs. We can go for the higher echelons of football administration in Kenya. Let them go to these offices. We need to reclaim our football back. And right now is a huge step that we are taking. And what McDonald Mariga, former footballer, and Hussein Mohamed are bringing to Kenyan football is a renewed hope that we can take Kenya to the next level. If the last 8 years we've been on a downward trend, then it means, we've seen our neighbors, Tanzania and Uganda, overtaking us. That means if we go to another direction, not the current direction that we are in right now, because when you do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, then you will never go to the next level. And that is why we need a fresh start. We need a change at the helm, and Hussein Mohamed and McDonald Mariga will take us to the next level.
So you've asked me my favorite candidate. First and foremost, I was not campaigning for anyone. My voice has been, let us elect someone who understands the Kenyan football. However, I was criticizing all of them across board. Look at Barry Otieno, has been there. What has he done? We have a lot of issues about credibility when he was the CEO. $1.6 million every year. How do we spend this money? We need someone who can tell us how we spend this money. Kempes has not been, I've not really heard a lot about what he has done on the Kenyan football. He claims to have done other things away. Okay, it's not bad to bring in, change or new ideas, but first tell us, what have you done within the Kenyan, the Kenyan football? Look at someone like Toto. Unfortunately, there has been a mention in his club about, match fixing and stuff. So
there have been a lot of allegations.
A lot of allegations. So one time during the presidential debates, he was asked this question and he evaded answering it clearly. So this shows there's something that he's not telling us clearly. Sam Ochola, Gor Mahia is a club that should be in another level. However, we are struggling. Gor Mahia ilipigwa na, was it Al Ahly or which team?
Al Ahly.
Yeah, ilipigwa home and away. You see, haifai club kama hiyo yenye amekuwa hapo ifanywe hivyo.
Actually, Sam Ochola did not even get the blessings or endorsement.
So what I'm saying is, across board, I'm criticizing all of them, I do not have a clear candidate. What I'm wishing for is someone who can at least uplift us, because all of them, including Hussein, unfortunately, has a few issues here and there. However, like I started by saying, I mean, ukiangalia wote, I mean, I think he's the
best placed.
Tukiongea tuanasema we were talking about some of the candidates. Sijasikia mtu akitaja Toto Shimanyula, someone who has been on the top of the
so what I mentioned is amekuwa Kakamega Homeboys imementioniwa na match fixing a lot of times, sio allegations, a lot of times
from the coach. He has suspended a coach, he has suspended players, there are ongoing cases, but talking about match fixing, that is something that we also talked with the incoming president Hussein Mohamed. We talked about match fixing, and I was advising him that we should, after he wins, we should start lobbying the parliament, because we need a legislation, we need a law that prohibits people from match fixing. We need something. We need because all the players that have been, all the players or coaches that have been accused of match fixing, they were suspended, but nothing has ever happened.
Exactly.
Nothing has ever happened. We don't know if the law took its course. There's no law. There's actually no law against match fixing here in Kenya. So as far as I'm concerned, it is something
legal. So you see, we need, if kama wewe ni coach, wacha license yako iende. If when ni chairman of club and you are accused with match fixing, you should be either banned or something. Kama ni club, we saw some years back, Juventus ilinyang'anywa all the titles ilikuwa imeshinda na ikarudishwa second Serie B na ikanyang'anywa points ikiwa Serie B bado. So we need to see action when match fixing is mentioned.
A player who was suspended by the federation, and then he took his case to FIFA and he won at the CAS, that is Court of Arbitration for Sports. He won that case, and right now he's a free agent. He can play for any team he wants. But that brings a lot of questions to the federation, because did they do their investigation? Is there a compliance office for match fixing at the federation? Who was doing these investigations? Why was he suspended? And if I was him, or if I was his lawyer, I can advise him to take legal action against the federation, because his name has been tarnished. He has lost income for the past 2 years. So someone needs to answer for those crimes.
Okay, and another update, Bernard Langat retaining his seat as the next member for Upper Rift region. In a few minutes now, the counting of the presidential votes will
so far so good.
Presidential vote will be taking place. What do we have? Upsound? Tumsikize Toto Shimanyula akikampeni hivi, tusikie anasema nini. Wacha tusikize Toto anajipigia debe aje.
Na nina marafiki Kenya mzima, hata rais wa Kenya nimekuwa naye rafiki kama ako mbunge. So nikichaguliwa mimi nitakuwa na uwezo wa kugonga hizo ofisi zote na governors wote. Na kitu kingine pia inategemea sura ya mtu ule anayeenda mahali kuomba kitu. Sababu ukiwa na sura ambayo unakaa kule kama uweze kuonekana, ni ngumu sana hata kusaidika. Mimi pia nimesema na nimeongea kabla yao wote kwamba mimi najua uzito, kwa sababu niko na team ambayo imerun from 2008 mpaka saa hizi iko katika Kenya Premier League. So I know how best I can do ndio niweze kuhakikisha watu wetu wanakaa. Siongei story, because hao wetu hao tutauliza hivi, tutakuta wengine wanakaa kule Amerika, wengine wanakuwa kule ndani, kazi ngumu, hawelewi weather ya Kenya na kaaje. So with me nita make sure tumehakikisha, na nimesema from grassroots, kwa sababu unajua watu wengi wako hapa wanatafuta tu kura kusema president. Na kama wewe unafanya biashara kama Toto, even I can offer a part of my business money, nihakikisha nimejaribu kutengeneza zile vitongoji na niongee na shule na urafiki.
You know, when I listen to Toto Shimanyula, anapenda kusema mimi najuana na watu, mimi na pesa niko nazo, mimi ni mwanabiashara. Lakini can you transition that to leading Kenyan football? Yes, you have been there. Yes, you own the football club, but football Kenya Federation president is a different type. You know nowadays
people are woke, and there are times have changed, and football is evolving every now and then. Toto Shimanyula, we've seen what he has done at Kakamega Homeboys, of which is good. He's nurturing the talent that is in western part of Kenya. But then again, when you look at his team, when you start trickle down to that team, when you start going for the nitty-gritty details, does that team have a secretariat? we've all seen is been Toto all over again. So those are some of the briefcase clubs that we want to do away with, because when Hussein gets there, I know he will take seriously the club licensing, because this season, before it started, every team was supposed to be given a provisional license, and the federation were just dishing out according to who is supporting me. We've seen these teams are struggling these seasons, and some of the things that are must to be ticked with the club licensing, the criteria. A club has to show its operating balance, because most of these clubs in Kenya, they are operating at negative or zero balances in the account. So you have to show your capability of paying your players throughout the year, not the footballing season for 8 months from May to August. No, from August to May. No, from January to December. You have to show the capability of your team, that it can pay its players. And I think Hussein should introduce at least a minimum balance, and it should be 10 million for all the clubs, because we've seen clubs even being stranded here in Nairobi, and Wadau, the fans in Kenya, fundraising for these clubs so that they go back to where they came from. So some of the things that are supposed to change, and with Kakamega Homeboys, Toto Shimanyolo cannot say that he has the capacity to lead the federation, because if in his own club is not being professionally run, and when you know, charity starts at home. And kwa reggae kuna saying inasemanga, dance a yard before you dance abroad. So take care of your club first. Let's see your club being run professionally, then we can give you a chance at the helm. But when your club is not being run professionally, the players are also being intimidated. The players are not even bold enough to come out and talk about their welfare. When players are being mistreated, when players are going up to 4 months not being paid, then you cannot tell us that you will go there and change things at the top, when you cannot even change the way your club is being run.
You want to ask something?
About Toto, like you said, he uses that slogan, I have businesses. So
I know so and so.
I know someone here and there. And then he also says that because of his businesses, he will make sure that the finances that come in. So to me, he's not bold enough. He's not clearly articulating the issues that affect Kenyan football. So that is my issue with Toto.
He doesn't even know what he will do for Kenyan
football. We have mentioned the match fixing issues.
But there was people who can fund the
fund what? We need someone who
structures.
We need structures so that the next, even if Hussein wins right now and he doesn't win the next election, we need structures. Even when the other president comes in, the policies are there, structures are there. So sio ati I know people. So hao watu juu usipoingia, so what will happen? Haitafandiwa, I mean sponsors hawatakuja juu au kuelektiwa. We need those structures, someone who can market our football. Hiyo ndio kitu moja again tunakosa sana. Grassroots football, structures, governance, credibility, hizo ndio most of the things that are affecting our football.
And the only person, the only candidate who has been, so sorry for interjecting, the only candidate who has been labeled the king of grassroots football is none other than Hussein Mohammed.
Because of his Super 8 tournament.
Yes, I'm a product of Super 8. I played in the Super 8. Actually, my first boots, football boots, I bought with money that I got as the MVP for the defunct Madari division. I was given 30,000 as the MVP. I was the top scorer and the MVP for that season. As the money I was given, I bought football boots, my first pair. I used to play barefoot, or some fans were impressed by the way I was playing, and they will buy for me those boots. Or I borrow boots from some teammates who are not in the starting 11. So what Super 8 brought to Nairobi, because it was only in Nairobi within the constituency.
I was also part of Super 8 back then at Technical University of Kenya. Nakumbuka pia nilikuwa bench though.
At UK. Now, that is after Super 8 had evolved, because I was a witness when it started as a football tournament and it became a league. It had 2 tiers, with the tournament also and they had a Champions League for the teams which were finishing number 4 in all those tiers. So I saw Super 8 evolve from a tournament to a league format with 3 tiers. And in 2018, I was at the federation after we took Nick to the helm at 2016. I was given a committee membership for the Players Status Committee, the PSC at the federation, and that's when the cases started against Hussein. They took Hussein to the court, and if I was the president back then, because I tried to advise the federation that someone who knows grassroots football like this, someone who has up to 10 sponsors in the grassroots. They even have gala awards. Have you ever had the Division 1 having gala awards, the County League football having awards here in Kenya? It has never happened. So someone like this, you do not chase them away. Bring them on board. Give them the lower tiers of the of management. When you go to England, the management, the Premier League, they take care of the Championship and the Premier League. But the grassroots football is where the federation comes in. So the federation needs to know the technical know-how of football in Kenya. We need a vibrant grassroots football, because that is where football is. That's where football is made, grassroots.
And something else about grassroots football. Let the top, let FKF officials, the chairman and the deputy and the likes, the CEO, let them just guide the branches. Let them give branches, that opportunity to grow their area. Kwa sababu unapata wana control even the branches. Wanaingia kwa branch football, wanaingia kwa everything.
They should manage themselves. They want to micromanage everything.
They want to micromanage. Wapange tu, wawache branch level Iran football up and down.
You'd be surprised. Most of these branches, they are actually briefcase branches. When I take it right now to Machakos, my home county, they do not have a branch office. All the meetings, they happen at the current chairman's hotel. So things have to change. The federation did not empower the branches well enough. And right now, Hussein has a very huge opportunity. If he wins the presidency, I'm not saying that he's going to win, but if he wins the presidency, he has to empower the branches, because that is where grassroots football emanates from.
But what if Doris Petra and Nick Mwendo wins? What if?
Then it's doom and gloom for Kenyan football
for another 4 years. 4 years.
You support that?
Okay, Mimi, to be honest, there are 2 candidates.
Because kumekuwa na maswali.
Yes.
Most of the people, most of the footballers, ukiongea nao kwa ground, wanakuambia Hussein. But then again, you look at kina nani wako na hizi votes. Given a chance, footballers na watu pia wanapenda ball, mafans wa ball watakwambia Hussein. But what if Hussein doesn't?
So, I started by saying there are specific people, if ingekuwa uwezo yangu, hata wangekuwa kwa this candidature. And those specific people is a team ya Nick Mwendwa na Doris Petra and Barry Otieno. Because those guys have been there.
There's also Chris Amimo who's running it. Anthony Macau. Macau is a relative of Nick Mwendwa.
Yes. So these are specific, those 2 camps. If it was for me to the past nomination ama nini, those kwanza hizo timu mbili ningeziweka kando, because I have a biasness towards them because of how they have run our football for the last 8 years. If Hussein doesn't win the chairmanship, I only hope it's not Barry or Doris, someone else.
Malila is also cut from the same cloth. He's also in Nick Mwendwa's camp.
Wacha tusikize. Tuko na Tom Malila kidogo. Tom Malila yupo. Tumsikize. Lakini among the candidates wenye nilikuwa na expect, they step down ahead of today's election is Tom Malila. Sababu ukiangalia pia voting na pia si voting, but the influence that someone has, kidogo yake unge predict. We have Samuel Wino Kempes. Msikize kidogo.
We talk about things that really don't help our football. Toto is talking about knowing a place somewhere, and Barry is talking about being in a meeting. In reality, those things don't really matter. If I'm wearing blue suit and Barry says it's red, I can't change Barry's mind. Barry is the only person who thinks the federation was run properly. How he does that, I have no idea, you know, but somehow he does. But coming back to, you know, our football, you can't tackle one aspect of our football and not everything. Everything has to work together. We have different aspects of our football. We have governance, okay? We have building of infrastructure. We have, you know, mashinani. We have all those things. And if you don't have a plan that tackles all those things, you're going to have a problem. You can't fix one aspect of our football and not leave the other one. One thing's going to get messed up. And so we have to deal with the issues of governance and make sure that we govern correctly. Accountability is a big part of that. Transparency is a big part of that. We also have to make sure that we have infrastructures in place. And we also have to make sure that our football starts from the grassroots. If we don't do that, we're going to have problems.
Sami Kempes, they are talking about grassroots football, and he's saying if we don't develop grassroots football, then we are going to have a problem. Every candidate is talking about grassroots football. But tushajua the national executive members of the 9 region, because just to give you a summary of who has been elected, who has been chosen to be the national executive member. Robert Macharia retaining his central region. He will be representing central region. Charles Njoka has been elected for the eastern region. Peter Kamau Kaskas, Lower Rift Valley region. Mohamed Dabar, northeastern. Daniel Shikanda, Nairobi. Kama weni fan wa FC Leopard, you know very well Daniel Shikanda. Collins Kale for Nyanza region, Caleb Amwai for Western region, and Gabriel Mahendi for Coast region. Lastly, Bernard Langat Langat has retained its seat for the national executive member for the Upper Rift Valley region. Most of them, they're saying this is a fresh start. I don't know.
Yeah, it is a fresh start. It is a fresh start.
Innocent is happy.
Yeah, I'm a very happy man, because you see, when you have a neck which you're on the same page, then you definitely know that there will be work done. But when you have a non-functional neck, then it means that doom and gloom, just like the last 8 years, because all the neck members, they were yes men. They could not even tell when they tell the king when he's naked.
True. So I've listened to Kempes, and he has talked about grassroots football. So all the candidates are talking about grassroots football. However, most of them are not giving us a clear way of how they will develop grassroots football. How will they plan their structures to develop grassroots football? And when we mean grassroots football, we mean both boys and girls, because most of us are only concentrating with the boys, the boys, and forgetting that also the girls has equally have the same right to be developed. We've seen what if they are empowered, what they can do. We had our first team go to the World Cup for the first time actually. We've never been to any World Cup. So I mean, let's develop grassroots football and have clear structures and involve all the parties, both boys and girls. Kempes as well has mentioned about governance. Again, all of them are mentioning about governance, but not giving us a clear way of what they will do. So I think, like Innocent is saying, it's a fresh start. We need people who are not there, and people who can bring new ideas, people who can discuss with the chairman, whoever will be, people who are NEC members who can discuss and bring fresh ideas. So, and I think former footballers are set to give us, ideas. They've been there. They know players' welfare. They know the kind of, the pain points of players, the pain point of, our football. So I think it's a fresh start.
One thing I like about Hussein Mohammed is he likes working with former footballers, because we know the game. we have the technical know-how, and even when you see the players who came from the Super 8, like the success stories, there's me, there's Jerry Santos, there's actually Wanyama also played in the Super 8. There's also Joseph Shikokoti, and ever since we moved on to play professional football, he has been calling us to grace some of the events, to give mentorship for some of the upcoming footballers who are playing in his grassroots tournament. The Gala Awards at Carnival, I have awarded players, I have awarded coaches, and that is what you want to see. When we talk about last season but one, a couple of seasons ago, there was no Gala Awards for the top flight football, that is Kenyan Premier League. And you could see the president, even his body language, he was too arrogant. In his statement, he was saying that there's no money. The government messed us up with the court cases, with the suspension. In other serious countries, that suspension, why did it come? It became because of corruption. The government are no fools when they take their auditor to the federation to audit their financials, and he recommended the auditor recommended that. The federation has been riddled with corruption for the past 8 years, and it should be closed down. And they did very, although I don't agree the way it took, the direction it took, because it was too harsh being suspended. I was hoping that they deal with Nick Mwendwa as an individual, because the buck stops with the president. And that is what we want with Hussein. If he needs to take blame, he needs to take responsibility if anything goes wrong in the federation, because the buck stops with him.
Exactly.
I can see someone saying Kenya is too much of a joke. Let's wait for the results. Viewer back at home pia, you can be part of the show. Interact with us. Our WhatsApp number is there. Hapo chini kwa runinga yako kuna WhatsApp number. Text us. We also having the question of the day as today, or rather today, the Football Kenya Federation decide. Picture ambazo unaziona hapo, or the photos that you, the videos that you are seeing on your screen is live photos from the Kasarani Indoor Arena where the voting process took place, and now the counting of the votes, the counting of the votes currently is going on. Tutakuwa naangalia tuangalie nani ambaye anahesabiwa, lakini there's a lot of kumekuwa very calm. Sikuwa na expect kumetulia hivyo, sababu earlier in the morning we saw alternation. Kulikuwa pia na some football fans walikuwa nje ya gate wakisema sisi pia tunataka kusikiza tukiwa hapa nje ya gate. Polisi wakawaambia tokeni. Pia inside the arena pia kulikuwa na kushikana mashati hapa na pale, but now you can see kumetulia and everyone is following up close.
But Danko, it's never over until it is over. You never know when it starts with our football. The
chaos have to be there. I'm sure the federation did not want these elections to happen, because they've been playing hide and seek with the constitution.
They were supposed to happen
to happen in by August. Because the convocation from the CEO, previously it was Barry Otieno, it was supposed to be convocated in November last year. Then 8 months later, we have the elections. So the elections were supposed to happen in August, but that never happened. And it was a directive from FIFA, actually, that they were supposed to hold elections before the new year. They wanted a new regime after the new year. And even when the CAF president, Motsepe, was in Kenya, he said the same.
Let's listen to what is happening at Kasarani.
All right. We will now proceed to count the votes cast in favor of Banga Umuni Ochieng. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Larry's judgment is received again. So proceed to Belfast, to the running